What's up, everybody? This is the Compost Dude here. We got another great video for you today. Today I'm talking about my 3-stage at-home composting system that's geared towards eliminating odors, eliminating pest problems, and producing a quality final product for your at-home compost system. I'm going to give you a lot of great tips today and just give you some ideas about how you can easily set up your system at home. All right, so we have our 3-stage system here. We have our turner bin is for our raw materials. Then we have our intermediate materials. After this has been processing for about a month, goes in the open air static pile. And then once that's been going for about another month, we toss everything on the screener and the final product comes out below. And then the overs get put back on the intermediate or the raw material, doesn't really matter. The point is everything gets processed fully eventually, but the final product is just that finer material. Focusing here on step 1, which is the raw material, what I do is I get a bunch of wood chips and I put it in the base of this bin, and then each week we add our food scraps here. So we have our tabletop or countertop pail here, and then what we do is we just open this up, add our food scraps in here, and then let me just get up close here. As you can see, everything's very still whole. You can see all the fruits and veggies that are in there. But the nice thing with having your first step being a turner bin is that it'll keep out your raccoons and squirrels and stuff like that. So then we'll just close it up and give it a few turns just to get it mixing. And doesn't really matter too much. I do that probably once every 3 times that I actually put material in there. And you can see stuff is already starting to break down. Those wood chips have already started to turn sort of into soil. But the main point is that if you want to really reduce your odor and you want to eliminate pests, 1, this is good because it's solid, it'll keep pests out. But 2, starting with that base of wood chips with all that brown material will allow you to gradually add things in without having it smell too bad. Every once in a while, if we put I'll put fish skins in there. Some people don't put any meat at all, and that's fine. But that'll get a little bit of odor going. But I wouldn't put any meat in it. I wouldn't put any cheese in it, but all your fruits and veggie scraps for sure. And it'll all eventually break down. And then once that's been going for about a month, then we'll head over to our second step. Okay, this is our second step here. This is the open air static pile. And you can see everything's much more homogeneous over here. So, it's not fully broken down, but it's more like soil. It's more like compost. This all started out in that raw material step. So I like having it open. You don't really risk having pests around here because there's really nothing for them to eat. You don't have to worry about odors because everything's already broken down. So odors become a problem when your compost pile goes anaerobic, meaning that there's no oxygen. So the microbes have used up all the oxygen in the soil, which breeds anaerobic microbes, which is a certain type of microbe. And those microbes produce methane. So that's what you're smelling when your piles go anaerobic. You don't really have the issue with that here because it's open air. The air is able to go through it. It keeps it at a pretty solid moisture level. I'll give it water every once in a while. I don't worry about it too much. I'd rather have my pile more dry than more wet. So that's just something to think about. What I did here is I just put in a couple PVC pipes with holes drilled in them. This is just to add some air to the soil and give the microbes oxygen, keep it from going anaerobic like I was saying. I also put this in here, which is not really relevant right now, but when I layer up my pile at the beginning of the season, I'll layer it up in a certain type of way. I can do a different video on making a hot pile, but this allows me to just sort of check the temperature just by the way it feels. And then sort of every once in a while, I'll just give it a few turns, get some oxygen in it as well. And something to keep in mind, this thing was almost full at the beginning. It breaks down so much that the volume of the material really decreases, which is kind of crazy to see. All right, so this is our third and final step here. This is the screener bin. So Once all of that has been going for about a month and it's about ready to go, we'll put it on top here in our screener bin. We'll work the material around and the final product will come down below. This is probably, if you're very space limited, this is going to be the step that you're going to want to eliminate. So you could potentially just have your turner bin and your open air, or even two open air if you're not too worried about pests. And then you could potentially just have a screener separate, screen it straight into a wheelbarrow or straight into the area that you want to use it in. So not essential, but definitely a very nice setup. I really like how this turns out. We have our final product down below and we can use it when we want. And it also allows the compost to cure, which is kind of an important step that a lot of people do skip. It allows it to sort of become more stable, more able to use that product on our garden without worrying about it having different problems. So having that curing phase has multiple benefits, and I can give more on that in a different video. Thanks for watching this video. This is the Compost Dude in Stalitz, Wisconsin. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like the content. I'll be doing more compost videos in the following weeks. Keep composting at home, and hope you like the video. So just recapping everything that was said in that video, having a 3-stage system gives you the room to manipulate your feedstock material in a way that allows you to minimize pests and odors while also creating a quality final compost product in your own backyard. Having that first stage in the enclosed bin is nice because it allows you to, one, keep pests out of your pile when there's very raw material in there. Another key part of that first stage is starting with a good amount of dry brown material. And starting with that dry brown material will allow you to add a lot of green, nitrogen-rich, wet material, such as food scraps from your counter. And then over time, that will start to balance out. The second stage can be open air or can be enclosed. I just like open air because it gives it nice aeration over time. And then again, you can see the potential to have more than 3 stages or even less than 3 stages. But I would say the more stages you have, the more capacity you have to process a lot of materials, and the more ability you have to have room to move things around. But overall, composting is just putting stuff in a pile and allowing microbiology to do its work. You just want to pay attention to your pile, understand sort of what's going on there, and give it the right conditions to do its thing over time.